Hey guys, it's your boy Darty, coming at you with another weekly analysis on the NASDAQ and the S&P. What I have brought up right now is the daily time frames, both NASDAQ and S&P, just kind of giving you a high-level overview. So we have an average daily range on the ES of about 66 points over the 5 days, as well as the 10 days and the 20-day, roughly about 61 points. So somewhere between 60 and 65 points is an expected travel on a daily basis on the S&P as well as on the NASDAQ. You're looking at roughly 275 to 260 points. So anywhere around 250 to 300 points on a daily basis. So now let's look at the weekly time frame. So the weekly, same thing. We're looking at about 100 point, 108 point weekly average over the past month on S&P and about 473 points on a weekly average on the NASDAQ. So this isn't tradable information. It is just having awareness of where we could potentially meet some resistance or some potential targets or anything like that. So let's break out the weekly profiles. So we had a aggressive push down on both the NASDAQ as well as the S&P last week. And this is where we settled at 43.57 and then 15,120. I've kind of highlighted my volume area that I'm interested in on both and some potential things that I am looking for. So again, this is the weekly time frame. So my kind of volume area that I'm looking for is between the 15,000, about 75 to 80 area, all the way up to about that 15,150. On the S&P, it's about 43.40 up to about 43.60. So if you break this down on the daily time frames with the daily profiles, this is what I'm looking for. This is my volume area. We have a little bit of a tail. We had a pretty aggressive move up on both days. Now we're back into this thin print area. So what I'm looking for is a move outside of these volume builds. So you can see on the composites, and this is roughly a composite profile of about the past 28 days. So on the S&P, an LVN that I'm really paying attention to is this 43.40, as well as having awareness of about this 43.50 area. If we continue to stay above this, I'm looking for price to continue stair-stepping higher up into about this 43.85 area. Same thing on the NASDAQ. If we're staying above this 15,075 area, then I'm looking for a two-way trade until we really get above this 15,150 area and for us to push this 250 area. But if we break below this 75-ish, I'm looking for us to continue trading down to roughly this 15,000 ballpark round figure. So again, that's what I'm looking for. The value areas that I have marked, again, I'm looking for us to two-way trade within these value areas. And if we break and build higher, then I'm looking to trade higher. If we break and build lower, then I am looking to trade lower. So that's what I'm sorry about that. Again, that's what I'm looking at. So y'all have any questions or anything? I was actually thinking about doing some of the same stuff on crude oil as well. So as a matter of fact, we could probably do that now because I have crude oil brought up. Crude oil, same thing, daily time frame. We're looking at roughly 250 ticks to 300 ticks on a 5 to 10 day average. Weekly, same thing. You're looking at 450 ticks to 500 ticks on a weekly average. So again, weekly profile, this is where we settled at. Looks like crude oil gapped up and is pushing higher. We had a pretty aggressive drop down the previous week. Now we're up higher. So this is the volume area that I am looking at right here. So let's look at the daily profiles. Again, it's kind of the upper value area of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 weeks ago. Is pretty much the high side. So about that 87, almost 88 round number, be that high side. And then on the low side, I'm looking at about 87. So I'm looking at about $1 range, 100 ticks going up and down. So if we build higher, then I'm looking for continuation higher. If we break lower, I'm looking for continuation lower. So once we get into this, the composite over the past month, this kind of shows it a little bit better. We're in this low volume area, and this LVN right here at this 86.90 area, almost 87 round number, I'm looking for that to provide support to push higher. And then roughly this 88 area, if we get higher than this, then I will look for a price to build and push up to this 90 area. So again, this is a lot of my tools that I utilize. I say it day in and day out. Orderflow Labs, they're auto plots. These yellow boxes are the balance areas. This little red box that's right here, that's an RTH gap. Same thing with these blue boxes. These are some single prints. This right here is a pour high, pour low. So again, a lot of the tools that I utilize and operate on a day-to-day basis come from Orderflow Labs. I love them. So they help streamline a lot of my analysis, and that's one way I can run through a high time frame analysis on 3 different instruments in roughly 5 to 10 minutes. So again, that's what I'm looking for on crude oil, as well as the indexes, NASDAQ and S&P. Here's the value areas that I'm looking for. Looking for a build or a push higher, build or a push lower. Within this area, I'm looking for two-way trade. The big thing on S&P, again, that 4350 area is LVN over the past month. Same thing with NASDAQ, 15,100 to about that 15,075. So let's see what some overnight inventory gives us, and we'll go from there. Again, trade safe, trade smart. Y'all let me know if y'all have any questions.